A big week in your fantasy season, a lot on the line. Let's get those lineups set for week 12. What's up and welcome, everybody. Remember, if you don't get your questions answered on this show, you need more help, we invite you to join us at 11 a.m. Eastern on youtube.com/fantasyfootball today, 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern. We are answering your questions basically for 2 straight hours. Heath, it's nice to not have to talk about the weather today.
No weather concerns.
Let's do it. All right, so just real quick on the Bucks, Chris Godwin is expected to play, but Bucky Irving is not, and he will expected to play next week. So that is great news. And Chris Godwin, we think, is too risky. His coach said he won't play a full snap share. Where'd you rank Chris Godwin?
48th, I think, just to get him into the rankings. But he is, I think the bigger news on Godwin playing is what does that mean for the targets of Tez Johnson? Because you're going to start him Eka Ibuka unaffected. Cade Otton and Tez Johnson are the two guys who were kind of maybe low-end starters. Tez more of a flex. That losing 1 or 2 targets could make a really big difference in whether they're a good start or not.
What about Otton? So, yeah, Tez Johnson, I feel like people could try to get away from, but Otton?
Otton is just inside of my top 12 now. He was closer to 6 at the beginning of the week. I've got him at 11.
Okay, big drop there. All right, so how about these injured running backs? Josh Jacobs, we can't tell you yet what to do with Josh Jacobs. He's going to test his knee during warmups. If he plays, you start him.
I was going to say that's the easiest one, just because if Josh Jacobs plays, you start him. If Josh Jacobs doesn't play, you start Emmanuel Wilson.
But not in the same regard as you would Jacobs?
I mean, Jacobs is probably a top 6 back when he's fully healthy. And Wilson's a borderline RB1, a must start for me.
We'll talk about this. The Inactives will come out at 11:30. This is a 1 o'clock game. The thing is, when Jacobs had, I think it was a calf injury a few weeks ago, they did limit his touches a little bit. 13 carries at Arizona, 13 carries at Pittsburgh. Of course, he scored 3 touchdowns in those games, but they did use Manuel Wilson more in those games. And then Jacobs finally got healthier, got 17 carries, 21 carries, and then he got hurt again. Anyway, Jaylen Warren is going to play. You feel good starting him? The Bears are without 3 linebackers today.
Yeah, I think you feel great about the opportunity against the Bears. The question is, do they limit his touches a little bit? Because they have Kenneth Gainwell, who they're happy to throw the ball to. So I'm viewing Warren as someone I'm almost certainly starting. He's an RB2, not a top 12 guy.
And Ramondre Stevenson's expected to play. That's no surprise. Heath is a little bit lower on Travion Henderson than Dave and Jamie are. But, look, they're playing the Bengals. We've seen multiple running backs have good games against the Bengals 4 times this year. Ken Walker expected to play. How would you rank the 4 running backs in New England at Cincinnati and Seattle at Tennessee?
So I have it Walker, Henderson, Stevenson, Charbonnet. I think everybody else has Henderson over Walker. They're very, very close for me.
Isaiah Pacheco is out. How does Kareem Hunt rank against the Colts, against those compared to those 4?
I would put him ahead of all of those 4 running backs. It's a good matchup. There's no Pacheco. He ought to have 15 or more touches. Start Kareem Hunt, RB2.
Joe Burrow is out, so it's another Joe Flacco week against Cincinnati. We're hoping for Burrow. I would say expecting Burrow. I don't know if they lose this game and they're a 3-win team, what happens, but expecting Burrow on Thanksgiving. Not at our Thanksgiving dinners, but for his game. And Aaron Rodgers is questionable. We still don't know about him and if he's going to play, but that is another 1 o'clock game, so we'll know pretty early on Rodgers, and it won't really affect anything for you in terms of Warren and Metcalf and all that.
Nope.
Okay. All right, so let's take a quick break here and get to some tight end news. One more running back item. Trey Benson is out. Zonovan Knight is playing. How about Zonovan Knight against the Jaguars versus Kareem Hunt against the Colts?
I would start Hunt overnight. He is right in between Travion and Ramondre for me. A very, very borderline RB2 or a very good flex.
All right, we'll take a break and get into a few more news items after this. Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today, everybody. Fantasy Football Today Express. So Brenton Strange is going to play today. Ooh, what do you think?
Yeah, he's behind Cade Otton for me, behind Hunter Henry, behind Harold Fannin, but like the best option other than that group. So I believe he'll be at tight end 15 when I get my rankings updated this morning. He had about a 17% target share the first month of the season. Obviously, you hope that will be better with no Brian Thomas Jr. or Travis Hunter, but in his first game back from injury, it could be worse. So not a surefire start, but if you've been streaming tight end, I think he's a good guy to just try to put on your bench, and let's see what the role is. And he might be somebody you want to start later in the year.
And he is 20% rostered, Brenton Strange. And he scored 9.9 or more PPR fantasy points in 3 of his first 4 games before getting hurt. Darius Slayton is going to play. So he is at the Lions. 12 points, you think we would get from him?
I mean, it would be nice if we got 12 points. I think you're best to view him as kind of a hope at flex than a start. But there is some upside there with Jameis. It's just, man, they're like 12.5 point underdogs with an implied total of 18. So don't get too excited.
Yeah. And Xavier Worthy is questionable. I don't think that's really going to change much for people.
He's expected to play. I would rather start Xavier Worthy than Darius Slayton, but that's where we're at.
Xavier Leggett is going to play. He's coming off a huge game. The Niners' pass defense is pretty bad, but I don't think anyone's going to. I mean, we've seen it before from Leggett, and then he disappears. Sorry.
Great boom bust flex.
Xavier Leggett. Okay.
Yeah.
Any interest in a Titans pass catcher with Alec Iomanner out?
I mean, DK is the hope, but he would be behind Leggett for me.
Mike Gesicki is questionable for the people who ran and picked up Noah Fant. Any concerns about Fant? His numbers really didn't change when Gesicki played, but we've seen in the past Gesicki have actually pretty big games when T. Higgins has been out and now Jamar Chase is out.
Yeah, I think he did not have even 20 receiving yards in a game this year, Mike Gesicki. He's been almost completely uninvolved. He's on the field a little bit, but he was playing less snaps than Drew Sample earlier in the year. So I didn't really impact Fant that much.
Okay.
I'd rather start Strange than Fant now. That's a difference.
And Alex Highsmith, edge rusher for Pittsburgh. He's doubtful. Good news for the Bears. I already mentioned the Bears will be without 3 linebackers. And great news, Philadelphia center Cam Jurgens cleared the concussion protocol, and he will play at Dallas. We have some time for your questions here. Dallas Goedert or Jake Ferguson in that game, non-PPR.
Ooh, non-PPR. I'm going to go with Goddard, but they are, flip a coin.
Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, or Trevor Lawrence?
It would be Daniel Jones for me.
Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Javonte Williams, or Emmanuel Wilson. Rank them.
So if Jacobs is out, Emmanuel Wilson would be my favorite of that group. If Jacobs plays, Javonte would be my favorite of that group.
And then you like Henderson or Judkins better?
I've got Judkins like 1 spot higher.
Okay. Judkins at Las Vegas actually has kind of a sneaky, solid run defense. Watson or Pierce?
Pierce.
Alec Pierce, Chigo Okonkwo, Jahan Dotson or Dortch?
Yeah, it's gonna be Pierce.
That's Pierce. Pierce could be all right today.
Yeah, he's a top 30 wide receiver for me.
Who's starting Ricky Pearsall?
He is 1 spot behind Alec Pierce.
You basically just have to have a gut feeling on Ricky Pearsall. I can't really tell you why you should start Ricky Pearsall. He's a talented player. He got nothing last week. Maybe they say, let's get him involved. Sam Darnold or Jameis Winston?
Darnold.
George Pickens or Travis Etienne?
Oh, wow. I'll go George Pickens.
Colston Loveland or Cade Otton?
Otton.
Strange, Fannin, or Theo Johnson?
So I have Fannin and Theo, basically. I'll go Fannin.
Flacco or Darnold?
I would go Flacco.
All right. We've got plenty of time to answer your questions on our live stream from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. YouTube.com/fantasyfootball today. We'll see you there. Thanks to Heath Cummings and all of you for watching and listening. Good luck this week. Talk to you soon.